Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam Stuti series. Today's shloka number is 43 of the Varaha Stuti, 13th chapter, 3rd canto. Kashraddhadhitan yatamastava prabho
Kashraddhadhitan yatamastava prabho
rasam gataya bhuva udvibarhanam
rasam gataya bhuva buddhibarhanam
na vismayosau tvai vishva vismaye
Navesmayosau tvayi vishvavismaye
yo maya yedam sasraje vismayam.
Yo mayayedam sasrujeti vismayam.
But forward meaning translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Kaha.
Kaha.
Who else?
Who else?
Shraddha
Shraddhadhita.
can endeavor. Anyatamaha.
Anyatamaha.
Anyone besides yourself.
Anyone besides yourself.
Tava. Your. Prabho. O Lord. Rasam. In the water. Gatayaha.
While lying in.
Yes, sorry. Bhuvaha. Of the earth. Udvibarhanam. Deliverance. Na. Never. Vismayaha. Wonderful. Asau. Such an act. Tvai. Unto you. Vishva. Universal. Vismaye. Full of wonders. Yaha. One who. Mayaya. By potencies. Idam. This. Sasraje. Created. Ativismayam. Surpassing all wonders. Translation. Who else but you? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Could deliver the earth from within the water. It is not very wonderful for you. However, because you acted most wonderfully in the creation of the universe. By your energy, you have created this wonderful cosmic manifestation. So, the sages are continuing to glorify the appearance of both the Varahadevs. So Prabhupada writes in the purport, it is clearly stated here that the Supreme Lord, although aloof from all the activities of the material world, remains the Supreme Director. How does he remain aloof? He is there in Goloka Vrindavan. He has nothing to do with the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material universes. That is taken up by one of his Gunavatars. The Supreme Lord is the Supreme Will and the background of this material manifestation. But the management is being conducted by material nature. What does Prabhupada mean? That the Supreme Lord, by His will, He is the background of this material manifestation. In the sense, if the Lord does not will it, Prakriti would not exist. Of course, Prakriti exists because we are disobedient to the Lord. Otherwise, there's no need for Prakriti at all to be there. Even though it is eternally an external separated potency of the Lord. So when Prabhupada says the management is being conducted by material nature, this is Durga Devi. So there are many people, especially in our Vedic culture, who are called Shaktas. They are awestruck and wonderstruck by her capacity to create so many different wonderful things. Therefore, they worship her as the Divine Mother who's maintaining everything, whose creative potency is being appreciated by this set of people who are called Shaktas. Krishna also states in Bhagavad Gita that of all the living entities in different forms and species, I am the Father. The Father gives seeds to the womb of the mother for the child. And similarly, the Supreme Lord, by his mere glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out in their different forms and species according to their last desires and activities. So, as we were discussing yesterday, that this glance of the Lord is actually Shiva. So, but Vishnu does not come in contact with Prakriti. Vishnu is always transcendental to Prakriti. Yet anyhow, because the Jivatmas wanted to be separated from the Lord has to make an arrangement for the Jivatmas to be separated from him. They have to go stay elsewhere. And that elsewhere is the womb of Prakriti. And the process is Lord Shiva, where Mahavishnu's glance is transformed into Lord Shiva. And therefore Lord Shiva and Parvati Devi are accepted to be the universal mother and father of all Jivatmas. So Prabhupada is writing here, the Lord's glance, his mere glance, it's just a fraction of a glance, injects all the living entities into the womb of material nature, and they come out in their different forms and species. So it's one glance that is injected, but out of that one glance, so many different creations from different species, right? Sthavara Jalalakhani, from standing trees and shrubs and plants to aquatics, to birds, to quadrupeds, according to their last desires and activities. All these living entities, although born under the glance of the Supreme Lord, take their different bodies according to their past deeds and desires. So the Lord is not directly attached to this material creation. In the sense, the Lord did not desire to create Prakriti and send us out of the spiritual world. That is something that we did on our own volition. But the Lord had to create a safe space for you to experiment your little independence. And that space is Prakriti. He simply glances over material nature. Material nature is thus activated, and everything is created immediately, simultaneously. Because he glances over material nature, there is undoubtedly activity on the part of the Supreme Lord. So you can't say the glance is not action. So definitely that glance is the Lord's action. But Prabhupada explains he has nothing to do with the manifestation of the material world directly. This example is given in the Smriti. When there is a fragrant flower before someone, the fragrance is touched by the smelling power of the person. Yet the smelling and the flower are detached from one another. So it is the person's ability to smell that allows him to experience the fragrance. Therefore, the person smelling and the flower are not attached to each other. There is a similar connection between the material world and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, he has nothing to do with this material world, but he creates by his glance and ordains. Ordains means instructs. In summary, material nature, without the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, cannot do anything. Yet the Supreme Personality is detached from all material activities. Right. So, this is actually the purport I was reading was to the 10th shloka of the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And now we'll come to the purport written for this particular shloka, the 43rd shloka. Because the rishis are expressing their response to seeing the Lord's avatar. And now they are saying, why should we be awestruck at all by all of your avatars when you yourself are behind all of this material cosmos? So Prabhupada writes in the purport to the 43rd shloka that we read today, when a scientist discovers something impressive, to the ignorant mass of people, the common man, without inquiry, accepts such a discovery as wonderful. So when we look around us, or when we go to museums, or when we go to another country and see how much more advanced they are in technology, like when we witness a bullet train and the speed at which it travels, and we come back to India, we are awestruck by what we saw. We think, how intelligent are these people that they've been able to do all of this discoveries and inventions and whatnot. So as the scientists keep discovering something impressive about Mother Nature, then they are awestruck by it. And the common man who has less intelligence is even more awestruck by it. So Prabhupada says, but the intelligent man is not struck with wonder by such discoveries. So a common man would give credit to whom? The scientists. But Prabhupada is saying an intelligent man will give credit to whom? The devotees will give credit to Krishna. So a common man, Prabhupada says, he gives all credit to the person who created the wonderful brain of the scientist. I'm talking about the intelligent man giving credit to the Lord. A common man is also struck with wonder by the wonderful action of material nature, and he gives all credit to the cosmic manifestation. So an intelligent person knows that there is Shaktiman behind the Shakti, therefore he gives credit to the Shaktiman. A less intelligent person cannot go beyond the beauty of Mother Nature, and therefore they give credit to Prakriti. Therefore, you have Shaktas who worship Durga Devi because they don't see beyond Durga Devi. The learned Krishna conscious person, however, knows well that behind the cosmic manifestation is the brain of Krishna. So a common man may be praising the intelligent brains of the scientists, but a devotee is actually praising Krishna because it's Krishna who has given the intelligence to the scientists for them to discover and invent things. Which is what we read in the purport to 9.10. Maya Dhyakshena Prakritihi Suyate Sacharacha. Since Krishna can direct the wonderful cosmic manifestation, it is not at all wonderful for him to assume the gigantic form of a boar and thus deliver the earth from the mire of the water. A devotee is therefore not astonished to see the wonderful boar because he knows that the Lord is able to act far more wonderfully by his potencies, which are inconceivable to the brain of even the most erudite scientist. As we discussed a few days back, In the 42nd shloka of the 10th chapter, the Lord says, what is the need for you to know about my opulences? All you should know is with a single fragment of myself. Teja Amshaha. I pervade this entire cosmos. So the purpose of this particular shloka is that we have to appreciate the Lord for creating so many intelligent brains that runs around inventing and discovering things. It is the intelligence of the Lord that is actually being appreciated. His intelligence is unsurpassable. And therefore, Prabhupada says, since devotees recognize the source of everything, they honor and worship the source of everything, therefore the devotees are most intelligent. In the sense, the Shaktas are preoccupied by the displays of the Lord's potency. The devotees are preoccupied with the displayer of those potencies. Creation is beautiful. But how much more beautiful should the Creator be if creation is so beautiful? So the rishis are saying here, the Lord can do anything. He can even dance with millions of gopis on Sharad Purnima, the Rasa dance, not because the Lord is attracted to the beauty of the gopis. The Lord himself is the source of all of those gopis and their beauty. The Lord is performing the Rasa Leela to please his devotees. This is what is happening in the spiritual world all the time. The devotees are trying to please the Lord is trying to please the devotees. The Lord is trying to bring so much pleasure for a devotee, and therefore he enacts all of these pastimes. So much so the gopis were bewildered. They thought Krishna is only with them. They could not see that Krishna has expanded unlimitedly, because it is said the Rasa dance lasted one full day of Lord Brahma's time span. So Lord just expanded time for the pleasure of his devotees. Similarly, the Lord can contract time as well for the pleasure of his devotees. So everything that the Lord does, he is called Leela Purusha. All of this are Leelas. It's meant to bring pleasure to the minds of the devotees. So Prakriti has created so many things. But we have to go beyond what we see, obviously, with our eyes and with our various senses of experience. So essentially, the rishis are saying, the full credit of everything goes to you, Krishna. So they are acknowledging that Krishna is the source of everything. There is a wonderful pastime in Canto 2, in the 5th chapter, which is titled The Cause of All Causes. And Canto 2 is all about how this cosmos was manifested. In that context, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu reveals knowledge to Brahma. Brahma then reveals that knowledge to Narada. So, in the beginning of the 5th chapter, Narada Muni, he is interested about the cosmic manifestation and he's heard everything. But Narada Muni is so intelligent, he understood that even though Brahmaji was holding this cosmos like as if it was like a small walnut in his hand, he intelligently asks, my dear father, please describe factually the symptoms of this manifest world. What is its background? How is it created? How is it conserved? And under whose control is all this being done? So intuitively, Narada Muni understood that even though his father was responsible for secondary creation, because he noticed that his father was worshipping and doing penance, he understood that there must be some higher authority, although he was wonderstruck by Brahma's capacity and intelligence. So, in that purport, I'll just read the first paragraph, what Prabhupada writes. Prabhupada writes, the inquiries by Narada Muni on the basis of factual cause and effect appear very reasonable. The atheists, however, put forward many self-made theories without any touch of cause and effect. So we are appreciating the effect, essentially, Prabhupada is saying. We are not taking cognizance of the cause behind that effect. And so Prabhupada uses, I'll just read one more statement. Prabhupada says, the manifested world as well as the spirit soul is still unexplained by the godless atheists through the medium of experimental knowledge, although they have put forward many theories manufactured by their fertile brains. Prabhupada is saying, these scientists, they have their brain is very fertile. It's always germinating this theory, this postulation, that postulation, etc. I was just listening to a lecture by His Grace Rajiv Lochhan Prabhu, and he was saying, I'm assuming he's a scientist in some way. He was saying that Einstein's E equals mc squared was considered to be the greatest theory of all time that can never be challenged. And the theory of relativity arose from that. But that same theory of relativity is being challenged today through the God particle. Apparently, Einstein said that when light travels through atmosphere, it has to overcome obstacles. But in space, there is vacuum. Therefore, the light travels in a straight line, and it is the fastest when it travels through a vacuum. Because once it enters the atmosphere, the light will get dispersed. But that theory is being challenged today. There are subatomic particles that can move faster than the speed of light in vacuum. So this is why Prabhupada is saying we can keep manufacturing so many theories and postulating so many things. And he is explaining why Narada Muni is so intelligent. And I will read this sentence. Prabhupada says, contrary to such mental speculative theories of creation, however, Narada Muni wanted to know all the facts of creation in truth and not by theories. So as scientists, you can go on postulating and say, it could be this, could be that, until something else changes. Now, once upon a time, this DDT chemical that was used to fertilize our food was considered to be the greatest invention. Agriculture could be pest-free. Production would be protected. The same nation that created this DDT chemical, a few decades later, said that this DDT chemical is very, very harmful for humans. So when you create theories and based on those theories, you try to commercialize things for profit, this is what happens. So essentially, Prabhupada is explaining here the importance of parampara. Narada Muni is explaining here the importance of parampara. We should not speculate about the truth. We should get it from an authorized source. So the parampara system is very, very important for us to understand the truth. There is no need to speculate. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So we have to approach an authority who knows this truth. Hence here, the rishis are acknowledging that the Lord can do anything. Why should we be surprised at all? Because the Lord is behind all of creation. Therefore, the Lord is acting in a most wonderful way. by creating this universe simply by a fragment of his energy. So we have to focus on the cause of all causes, and not be distracted by the effect. Yes, we can appreciate the effect. We can appreciate all of the Lord's creation. But ultimately, we have to bow down to the Creator, the ultimate Creator himself.
If you like our videos, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the bell notification. If you'd like to join our classes every day, please check the details in the description section of this video. We look forward to serving you.